Hey guys, this video is going to be long. I want you guys to know that. I actually just finished recording and I recorded this afterwards. Wanted to let you guys know if this is too long, even with the timestamps below, please let me know. I would love to go ahead and just grab some of these clips and chop them up differently, or just quickly go through them. This video is so you guys can walk through it with me and kind of have a good time with that and discuss it in the comment section below. I could do a live stream where we're going through this, but I want to let you guys know that I'm listening to your comments in the comment section below. So please, before you just say this is too long, let me know what you guys think in the comment section so I can make a change. All right, guys, enjoy the video.
Welcome to the Fight Club.
What is up? Gear Squad, Chaingear here, bringing you another video, and today we are going to talk about Lawbreakers, the PlayStation 4 patch notes 1.4. I believe these are very similar to the PC patch notes 1.4. Both of these are coming out tomorrow, and that would be September 21st, 2017. I'm pumped to talk about these. This is going to be a long video, so we're just going to jump right into it. I'm hoping that I can get some time to put some timestamps in the description. If not, I would love if somebody could do that in the comment section, but I do plan on doing it in the description, so hopefully I can get to it. But let's honestly just jump right into it. Now, we're not going to go ahead and read through everything. I just want to point out some really specific points. So I hope that helps. I'm going to actually zoom in a little bit here. But as you guys can see, the PS4 patch notes, you guys can go ahead and follow along as well. I'll put a link in the description for this blog post that Boss Key created for Lawbreakers. Really pumped about this. And as you guys can see, the PC patch notes can be found right here. You just click on this button and it'll pop right open. What up, Lawbreakers? All right, let's scroll down. This is huge. This is huge. This is massive. Here's what we're going to address. Health was increased for every role. We now have health regen after an out-of-combat delay for all roles, and a group spawning system was implemented, which means you spawn with teammates more often instead of solo. This is huge. Let's just take a minute and talk about this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This isn't live or anything like that, but I want to talk to you guys in the comments. I'm consistently typing and reading comments. Typing is in response to your comments. So please, everybody out there, whether you're a subscriber or a new person, just hanging out for Lawbreakers, let's talk about this. Health was increased for every role. Every role. That's crazy. Now there's a point for all this, and we'll read that in a couple seconds. But just think about that. That everybody's health is about to go up. People, characters die very quickly in this game, right? Basically, it's like if I see you, you're going down, unless you're one of the tanks, right? If you are Juggernaut, or if you're any of the tanks, it'll take quite a bit to get taken down. Now it's going to be even more. We'll see. So then we now have health regen, right? That's interesting. I think this is one of those things that I get it. Newer games have health regen. I think it allows for people to stay alive longer. More tactical things can happen strictly because you're alive longer. So you have more gameplay time. Yeah, I can see that being more fun and things like that, but it also takes away this survival mentality, I think. But we'll go into that, and again, I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. A group spawning system was implemented. I think this is important. I hate it when people spawn in solo and just start trickling in. That's really hard to get randos to group up together. So I'm really excited that they've implemented this, just like Overwatch actually recently did. So I'm excited for that. Not recently, it's actually a while ago, but I'm excited for that. So here's what they're hoping to achieve with those three major changes: the additional health, the health regen, and the group spawning. Extend the combat dance. I like that, combat dance, and create more interesting decisions about when you want to commit to a fight or retreat to safety. That's huge. I completely agree with this. Basically, when you and your opponent are against each other, it's like a dance. It takes two to tango, right? So it's you versus another person. Maybe it's a 2v1, maybe it's a 3v2, but the dance is going longer, right? That battle is being extended because there's more health, and if you want to leave, it's worth it because you could possibly regen your health instead of having to make a mad sprint to the finish line all the way to a health regen pod, right? So I think this is interesting, and I do agree with that. Reduce the overall amount of insta-gibs. Yeah, so that basically means one-shot KO, it's over. Like, oh, I see you, you're dead. That's kind of frustrating. I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure that's what instant gives means, but like, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. There was just a lot of like, oh, I see you, you're down. Instead, now there's this, again, that dance has been, extended. Provide more incentive to use abilities and combos in order to finish a fight. I like that. So basically, if you're, one of the, let's say you're Enforcer and you're just sitting there shooting everyone and you're not really using your EMP, you're not really using your rockets, you're just kind of sitting there shooting people all the time and just like kind of putting down fire. Not the case anymore because everybody has so much more health, because we want to stop them a lot faster, because they can be on the map for so much longer, especially for these objective games, kind of like Overwatch in a bit. We're going to want to, think more about our abilities and comboing to stop an enemy in their tracks and really do the damage down on them. I like that. I like that idea. Health regen on all roles is about letting teams without a battle medic have a chance, who previously had too much impact on the outcome of the match. Here's the second part. We are careful here not to adjust regain values too high. We do want to preserve the viability of both the battle medic and Harrier as excellent support roles. I completely agree with this as well. Health regen on all roles definitely helps us say, okay, I don't have to go, where are my heals? Where's battle medic? Where's Harrier, right? Harrier is an incredible character without acting as a support for their entire team. Harrier can go ahead and place a heal pack down just to regen their own fuel, meaning that they can keep moving. We've actually seen that this is like one of the best ways to play. I got this from Frothy Omen, one of my favorite YouTubers, and he had an incredible video of Harrier and him just flying around, picking up health packs and flying around and just continually moving because of that health regen or because of that fuel regen. And he wasn't going around like putting health kits down for his team. Not that that's wrong, but now you don't have to rely on Harrier. You can rely on your own abilities, and I like that. Health regen on all roles actually keeps the combat longer, which we've seen as a positive change during initial testing, internal testing, and it increases players' amount of actions and fun, rather than having them retreat to a health station. And I completely agree with that, right? Like, that is exactly what I just said. Basically, now that you have more health and you can regen, you're not mad sprinting to that finish line of the health pod, the health station, and so you actually can do a little bit more. And I like that. Cool. These are the biggest changes. I'm really excited about this. These come out tomorrow, and I'm excited to see exactly how this works. But let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into some of these other things. You guys can see here, new additions. Let's see if I can actually, there we go, jump in a little bit more. New additions, new map, Namsan. There is a video on YouTube from Lawbreakers that shows the map a little bit. It's pretty cool, and I heard that there's actually supposed to be a trailer, basically probably by the time this video goes up, unless I put it out tonight, then it'll be up tomorrow. But this new map, Namsan, this is going to be pretty cool. I'm excited. New maps are always great. New features, daily login rewards. Honestly, I know a lot of people are going to probably trash Lawbreakers for this. I love this. Daily login rewards makes me feel like I do need to jump back into a game. It makes me say, okay, the grind can be a bit in Lawbreakers, right? Lawbreakers is a PvP game. And so you just go in and all you do is really play the game over and over again. And I love that, don't get me wrong, the game's great. But like, yeah, if I can get my coins a little bit faster, then I'm gonna do it, right? I mean, that's a lot of the Destiny grind currently. I'm playing a lot of Destiny 2, and I consistently come back, if not every day, at least every week, because I want to make sure I can get my weekly bonuses. And so for this, my daily login rewards, why not? Why not play a match or two? So I think this is cool. Earn 50 credits the first time you log into Lawbreakers for the day. I like that a lot. We'll see if those stack, right? We'll see if it's like 50, 50, 100, 150, right? Probably not. It'll probably just be 50, 50, 50. Maybe if you go in the whole week, you get something. Who knows? But I do like that. Another new feature is team spawning logic in all modes. Not 100% sure, not sure what that means exactly. I actually think that team spawning logic, I think that's the thing that we were just talking about. Basically being able to spawn with your team. Not 100% sure. We'll see. More matchmaking options. This is interesting. This is a pretty big change as well. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Players will now have the following options to queue for. This actually reminds me, for those that maybe don't know Blacklight Retribution, but Blacklight Retribution, great free-to-play shooter on the PlayStation 4. They added this as well, queuing. Basically, the ability to say, okay, I like these game modes, so just throw me in. I really don't care. Just throw me into these game modes. And they've done this for three different ways. Objectives, so that's all of the normal game modes that you're kind of used to already. All of the normal, like, go grab the ball, blitz ball, overcharge, etc., right? But there's also the new one, Skirmish. Right now, Skirmish only has one mode, and that's Team Deathmatch. And Skirmishes are basically the arcade mode of Overwatch, right? It allows Boss Key and Lawbreakers to basically test different types of matches that they want to do. It also lets them test some other things, like maps. So there is actually another new map, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So new Skirmish, Team Deathmatch, that's going to be really cool. So you can just go ahead and queue up for skirmishes. And then there's also Quick Match. And so Quick Match basically puts them both together and says, throw me in the fastest match as you possibly can. I like this a lot. I don't really care which one we play. I don't get any more or less from objectives or skirmish. So I'm going to keep doing Quick Match every time I play. Why not, right? I'm not missing anything. I'm not losing anything if I jump into a quick match. Now, if I really hate skirmish, then maybe I won't. But I don't think I will. I like team deathmatch most of the time, so I'll definitely try that. I like objective-based games the most, though. So if I ever was like, hey, I really just don't want to go out and just kill things today, I do that enough in Destiny. I'm just kidding. That's actually quite the objective-based game. But objectives, I might go ahead and do that. So I think that's cool. Alright, as I mentioned, guys, this video is going to be long. Hopefully I get those timestamps down below. Role changes. Okay, this is huge. As we mentioned, the base health and health regen has been added. Let's take a look. The base health for all the roles. Assassin, one of the squishiest characters, 300 to 400. It's a pretty big jump. Battle Medic, 350 to 475. Again, pretty big jump. You can see not all of these are even, right? This is 100 points different, right? This is a 125 point difference. Very interesting. This isn't an even change. This is saying like, okay, Assassin, you're still, squishy comparatively to the rest of the game, right? Battle Medic, we're going to give you a little bit of a bump. Interesting. The Enforcer HP, 400 to 500. Gunslinger, only increased by 75. Just as squishy as the Assassin. Really, really interesting, right? There's no change between, there's obviously, it's a 75, there's 25 difference, right, in Gunslinger and Assassin, right? Assassin's squishier than Gunslinger, but Assassin, if they get up close, it's over, right? They're probably going to be able to kill you. But now they're at the same, 400 and 400. That's really interesting. Harrier HP, 350 to 450. Juggernaut, 600 to 700. Titan, 500 to 600. Vanguard, another 100 point difference from 325 to 425. And then Wraith from 325 to 425. This is one of the things I think is the most interesting. As you guys can see, as I mentioned, where is it? The Gunslinger and the Assassin are now the squishiest. And Wraith's actually above the two of them. So Wraith was between the two, way closer to Assassin, but now Wraith's actually got a bit of a bump above the two. So it'll probably take an extra shot to kill Wraith. Just super interesting. So I'm excited to see what the changes are with the rest of the characters and kind of see how that works. All right, next is health regen. Assassin from 0, obviously, to 20. And we're actually just going to stop there. As you guys can see, the Enforcer, Gunslinger, Harrier, Juggernaut, Titan, Vanguard, and Wraith, they all have now 20, I don't know what this is, 20 per second maybe, 20 per half a second, who knows, regen. But it's 20 health regen, so that's cool. We'll see what that means, right? If it's 400 health, it's going to take you quite, a little bit to be able to heal all of it. 700 is obviously going to take you a little bit more. But as you guys can see, Battle Medic also has a little bit of a buff. Battle Medic was already able to heal themselves, 10 to 35 now, though, so they've got a little bit of a bump, so that's pretty cool. All right, let's scroll down and go ahead and check the changes for the different characters. Assassin. We're buffing up the range of the arc blades and pulling down the damage of the Romer's shotgun. This is really interesting. Actually, this is for the charge shot. So this is huge. I'll be honest. Assassin, as you guys know, I played Assassin Week, and I was just going around and mostly using my shotgun. That charge shot was my bread and butter. Now they want to change the bread and butter to her melee. This is interesting. You know, I didn't necessarily think that this is what was going to happen. The arc blades are very difficult for me to use on PlayStation. I don't know if this is the same for PC, I'm assuming it's not, but for PlayStation it was very difficult for me to get used to it. And once I did, it was cool, it worked out, but it was still quite difficult comparatively to the Romer's shotgun, right? So as you guys can see, they've increased the range from 400 to 425. Now I'll be honest, these numbers are a little bit confusing. I don't really know if that's a big buff at all. 425 seems to be not that much of a buff, but I'm assuming it's enough to really make a difference. But again, we just don't know until we give it a shot, right? So the fact that the arc blades will be a little bit easier for me to lunge in and start my attack, we'll just really have to see. Also, the Romer's all fire projectile damage, again, that charge shot has been dropped from 27 to 25. So we'll have to see how that works. Is it going to be one of those things where it literally just can't, it used to one-shot people. It's not gonna be able to one-shot people anymore, right? So it's gonna be at least probably a 3-shot, maybe a 2-shot, but probably a 3-shot. And with the drop of the damage, it might be a 4-shot. So it'll be really interesting to see how this works and see how the arc blades do against these, you know, buffed up characters. Also, the dash travel speed reduced from 2,500 or 2,500 to 2,200. I think that's okay. Again, can't tell if that's a huge thing or not. It was very easy for Assassin to get away. Now that Assassin has some more health and some regen, it's probably not as fair to have her just be able to disappear. It's probably fair to be able to have other characters be able to kind of go after her. So we'll see if that actually makes a big difference. The next is the Battle Medic. As you guys can see, well, we can kind of read through it a little bit. Battle Medic's win rate shows way too much impact on the outcome of games. This is super interesting. Despite having lackluster damage output, which is, again, so, Battle Medic basically could have really low damage output, but still help with the win rate of games. That's interesting. That means she's not really, or he, or they are not really doing that much damage in the game, but they're still helping the team really win. Obviously, that's because of their healing abilities. Instead of gutting their healing abilities, which is great, I'm glad that they're not, we decided to instead to buff up the rest of our rolls by adding the new out-of-combat health regen, which is what we've talked about. To help compensate Battle Medic, we're giving them some more direct damage on the Lobber grenades, and did a full tuning pass on their mobilities. So, it's very interesting. Their mobility. They no longer suffer from increased gravity and should be more agile when moving around the map. We also want to encourage medics to get into the fray more with their teammates, so we pulled the range of the support drones, and have given them a little bit more health to survive up close. So very, very interesting. Removed increased gravity modifier. I'm assuming that means when they are in gravity, they can still move around quite freely comparatively to before, because we know that they have that flying ability, so maybe it's easier for them to fly around the map, kind of like Harrier a bit. That'll be interesting. The support drone range, again, as they mentioned, has been dropped quite drastically. As you guys can see, that is a big chunk. That's 1,100 change. Again, we don't know exactly what those numbers are, but comparatively to the Assassin and their tiny little 300 drop, 1,100 is quite the big number. The Lobber grenades also have the direct hit damage increased. This is interesting. It's 10 more. Is it enough? Who knows? I don't really play the Battle Medic, but I know good Battle Medics will crush me, so this will be interesting. And yeah, I'm really interested to just see how things go with the Battle Medic. This isn't a massive change, but I think the change to the whole game is what's going to make things different for the Battle Medic. All right, and then there's the Enforcer. There are a lot of changes for the Enforcer. Let's get started. We're shifting some of the Enforcer's powers out of the Bloodhound rockets. Good. And into the rest of his kit. For a while, the meme hounds, which are the Bloodhound rockets, have simply been doing too much damage with how easy they are to use, bordering on being a win button. We've reduced the number of salvos fired to make them easier to dodge and lowered the damage per salvo to make them less punishing when hit. In exchange, we're giving a bunch back to the aerator and the distortion field in terms of more accuracy, faster reloads, and better mobility. I like this. The distortion. Distortion? Is that a word? Distortion? Distortion field. Okay, let's go through this. I'm probably going to become an Enforcer main again. I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. I love Enforcer, and this is quite the big change. The aerator minimum spread has decreased from 0.35 to to 0. Listen, the second you shoot the aerator, instead of it blooming instantly, it starts perfectly, right? So if I'm looking right at you and I fire my first shot, it's going to go straight to where I was looking. That's huge. That means you're probably not going to miss your first shot. That's the most annoying thing when you shoot right where you're supposed to be aiming, and for some reason it veers a little bit to the right. Right? That's a little frustrating, especially with PlayStation 4 and just how intense the the aim assist can be, right? It's very hard to tune the aim assist. So, if you're kind of getting ready to kind of move it, not scoping, you can't scope it in this game, but if you try and get your reticule on them, sometimes the aim assist kicks in, and so maybe it's not exactly where your brain thinks it's going to go, and you'll just miss a little bit. But now it's really dependent on where you're aiming. And then the maximum spread has been decreased. Which means when you start that bloom, it's not going to bloom out of control. It's still going to bloom somewhere, but it's not crazy. Instead of being 3.75, it is now 3.25. This is big. This is just a better aerator. There's literally no drawbacks between this. It's just a better aerator. The Badger ammo per clip increased by 6 to 7. This is also just a buff. This is literally just means I get my shotgun out, and it's like blah, 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 blah. It's great. It's going to be gone. It's going to be good. It just makes up a whole bunch of words. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. The next is the Distortion. Just kidding. The Distortion field, the default activation duration increased from 4 to 6 seconds. This is interesting. The Distortion field's default activation duration increased from 4 to 6 seconds. The default activation. Does that mean how long it lasts? Because if it does, that's pretty OP. 2 more seconds of being able to be in that distortion field and do that much more damage that's now a lot more accurate. If that's what that means, I'm all about it. The distortion field's buff bonus to reload and weapon swap speeds have also been increased by 25 to 35, from 25 to 35. A buff. A 10% increase in weapon speed and reload speed. A buff. Reduced acceleration speed while distortion field is active. This is interesting. So you will not nearly accelerate as fast. You used to be like, you used to just shoot right out of the gate. Not necessarily the case anymore. 5,000 to 2,500. This is half the acceleration. This is interesting. To be honest, I've always had a bit of a frustrating relationship with the Enforcer. The Enforcer didn't have the kind of movement that I always wanted, which is why I played a lot of Wraith. But I totally understand why they don't have that much. It's kind of unfair. The fact that I can just kind of, shoot from a long range and get really close range if I want to is kind of unfair to be able to do that at a really quick speed. So this is a little bit different, and it's interesting. We'll have to see how it affects the character. And then this is brand new. The Enforcer can now use double jump, even when distortion field is not activated. I like that. Double jump is great for every character. There are a lot of places that you can get to with the double jump. In the Enforcer, I always had that frustration when I could or couldn't use the double jump, which is interesting. Maybe you can double jump, activate, and double jump again. Maybe, I don't know. But it's cool that you can double jump no matter what now. It doesn't make any sense logically, but who cares? We're talking about anti-gravity. It's going to be great. Fuel regeneration time decreased from 10 seconds to 7 seconds. I also like that. Fuel regeneration, you fuel more. So it's interesting. You'll have more fuel throughout the whole game, right? Because it'll regen faster, or more quickly in terms of the duration between times. But you won't accelerate as fast and things like that, and it lasts longer as well, though. So it's going to be interesting. And then the Bloodhound rockets, and this is exactly what they were talking about. It's been reduced from 4 salvos to 3, so instead of going, shooting 4 times, it just shoots 3 times. And the damage per rocket, which there are 4 per rocket, has dropped from 40 to 38. So in general, it's going to do less damage, right? Before it was doing 80 damage per salvo, so 80 times 4, right? But now it's not the case anymore. Now it's doing 38 times 4 or times 3, so it's even less. So yeah, you're just doing less damage, and hopefully you'll hit all your salvos. So this is going to be great, I think, against big guys, not bosses, but big tanks. But those fast guys that can get away, good luck, right? Hopefully they'll all hit. It's no longer a win button anymore, and most characters don't have a win button. right? Like Assassin doesn't have a win button. I can shoot Assassin the second she does her little spinny thing. Same with everybody else. Especially like Juggernaut, who doesn't even have that, who doesn't have like an ultimate ability like that. Okay, cool. Gunslinger. Gunslinger has some interesting changes. Gunslinger has been annihilating everything in their... This is so funny. Gunslingers have been annihilating everything in their path since they were buffed back in patch 1.1. Also, this is possessive Gunslingers. It should be multiple Gunslingers. I could be wrong. It should be I think it's just Gunslingers multiple. Have been annihilating everything in their path since they were buffed back in patch 1.1. Even though we've pulled back on his damage a bit, those changes didn't go far enough, and so we're doubling back and trimming more damage off of the Omega. Thank you. We're also fixing a long-standing issue where releasing the Omega charge shot early would cause you to always get the minimum damage. Interesting. Omega's fully charged max damage is now decreased from 150 to 130. Now this is interesting, right? Let's just real quick do a little bit of math. Not a ton of math or anything like that. But if you guys look back here, it would be a 2-shot for the Assassin. To kill the Assassin, you shoot her twice with Omega and they were done. That was really frustrating. Get a little bit of damage on the Enforcer, a little bit of damage on Harrier, a little bit of damage on Vanguard or Wraith, then it's a 2-shot with Omega. That was really frustrating. Yeah, you could even burn down some of these high health characters, right? With the 600, with the 500, that was definitely possible. Now no one's 2-shot anymore, and their damage has been dropped a bit. This is going to be interesting. I think this puts the Gunslinger back in place, and it'll be interesting. Gunslinger is definitely still... You don't want to just go toe-to-toe with the Gunslinger necessarily, but you do have the ability to be able to get out of that fight without being 2-shot. Hopefully you don't get headshot. You know what I mean? So, this is good. This is good. Omega's base damage with no charge has been also decreased. So instead of 85, it's going to be 70. Very interesting. Very interesting. So you're going to have to pop off quite a shots now to get through. So maybe a full clip of both will be able to take down some of those huge, your bigger targets. Actually, probably not with the health buffs. Also, there is a new ability for Gunslinger. Omega's damage now properly ramps up based upon charge duration. So it was supposed to do this to begin with, but so now there's going to be the scaling. So if I've charged it halfway, it'll probably do half of the full, the difference between the minimum and the maximum, right? So 70 to 130, right? Whatever between there. If I'm charging, I could get 80, 90, 100, 120, depending on how charged my shots are. Omega's base damage with no charge headshot multiplier increased from 1.1 to 1.5. Interesting. So the headshot multiplier without it being charged has actually been increased. This is good. This means that you're going to have to rely a lot on skill if you still want to get those quick kills, and I like that. Omega's damage during a warp combo has been increased from 45 to 70. I like that. That warp combo seemed worthless to me. Now that we're getting a little bit of extra damage in there, you're really gonna want to warp in, do your damage, and get out. You're gonna warp in, do a ton of damage in the beginning, and then finish somebody off with a charge shot. It's gonna be good. You're gonna have to have a lot of skill with Gunslinger, and I'm excited to see those changes. All right, guys. Wow, we have quite a bit of changes still to go. Juggernaut. We've added a blocker scoring event to reward, I like this, to reward Juggernaut players for using his hollow deflector, the hollow deflector effectively. We've also added a cross-checked event for getting kills with his specialty charge attack. Oh, okay, cool. New Juggernaut scoring events, again, blocker awarded for absorbing 300 enemy damage with the hollow deflector, and cross-checked. Awarded for getting kills using Juggernaut's charge into an alt-fire melee attack. I like this a lot. Juggernaut didn't really need a buff or a debuff, I don't think. A lot of people were saying he might need a buff. I don't know how to use Juggernaut aside from defense. I've seen people use him effectively, but I'm only good on the defense. But even this will make me feel a little bit better when I am blocking those shots, and it'll make me want to keep doing that. So I think this is good for those that like Juggernaut play and they want to continue that. Vanguard. We want Vanguard to be able to escape sticky situations using their mobility, but not necessarily have the fastest top speeds in the game. Afterburner top speed reduced from 2500 to 2200, and the Afterburner's acceleration speed has been increased from 4000 to 5000. So you're going to be able to just dip really quickly now, but you're not going at max speed. This is so confusing to me. Acceleration speed at 5,000, and then like your top speeds are half of that. I mean, I get acceleration isn't exactly the same, right? It's like miles per second, right? It's a little bit confusing, but like we'll see. I don't know how this is going to work, so I think it's cool. I think the fact that Vanguard's going to be able to move quicker in and out of situations is good. They don't have any other buffs, so we'll have to see how it goes. Wraith, one of my favorite characters. Wraith's free mobility spam was broken. Yes. Has broken every design rule we have in the game. Complete with instant cooldown refreshes and infinite stab dashing. To keep him in check, we've had to undertune the rest of his kit, which has left him feeling I thought it was subpar. I don't know. Subpar both to play as and to play against. We are pulling the trigger on some mobility restrictions for Wraith that allow us to open up the rest of his kit. First, Wraith will no longer immediately regenerate triple jump charges upon hitting the ground. Second, the lunge associated with the Wasp is now on a 3-second cooldown. Interesting. You'll be able to stab while it's on cooldown, but there will be no forward impulse, and the damage will be significantly reduced. On the buffs train, we're loading up improvements in almost every other aspect of the kit, with more damage on the Spectre, Slide Kick, and Stinger, and a longer key ability duration. This is interesting. I'll be honest, I loved Wraith because of those movement abilities, and I think people that played Wraith did as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this works. The good thing is, Bosky is always listening, and I'm excited to kind of go ahead and give that feedback. So let's go ahead and read through these. New triple jump now generates 1 charge upon landing, and subsequent charges after a 0.5 second delay. Okay, so half a second, they will come back. So basically, you can't do the triple jump, land, the triple jump, land. Okay, I think that's fair. For way too long, was Wraith able to just go, like, ski down a slope, jump up, ski down, jump up. That was a little crazy. I'm gonna have to get used to this, and we'll have to see how it works. You'll just have to time things a little bit better, I think. So we'll have to see. New, 3-second cooldown on the Wasp Stab Lunge. Definitely overused. I was using it a ton when I was playing Wraith, so it'll be interesting to see if he's still as viable as he used to be with that stab lunge. That stab lunge used to be how I got around the map a ton. I can't do that anymore. I can't just stab myself around the map. This will be interesting. 3-second cooldown is quite a bit, so you'll really have to figure out when to use the lunge to get out of a situation or into a situation, and when you want to use it against an enemy. It's also interesting to know that if you miss your lunge, don't keep spamming it, because if you do, you're just going to do less damage. So let's go ahead and read down this. Spectre damage per bullet increased from 24 to 25. Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit of more damage. Obviously, it's a 1, but the Spectre shoots quite quickly. So you're getting a little bit of a buff. You're going to be able to do more well-rounded damage. So instead of it being 4 shots or 5 shots to at least 100 damage, it's only 4 shots to at least 100 damage. That makes a difference, right? Obviously, you are always going to need that like 1 extra shot to do that rounded 100 damage. That kind of sucks. So it no longer is that the case, and I think that's good. Spectre's minimum spread decreased. I love this. I love it when the spread is decreased. It means you can be a little bit more laser focused. 1.0, so there's quite a bit of spread in the very beginning when you started shooting, to 0.35. Spectre's damage fall off range has also been decreased. So, wait a second. The fall off range has been decreased. Fall off range has been decreased. Does that mean you have to be closer? Right? Because if the fall off range had been increased, that means it's a little confusing. The range until the fall off happens? I don't know if this is a buff or a debuff. I don't know if this means I have to get closer or shorter. Maybe I'm being or farther. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comment section. I could be wrong. I can go ahead, tweet at Boss Key. Maybe they have the answers. Spectre's spread amount on bullets after 3 bullets have been shot increased from 2... What? Hold on. Spectre's spread amount on bullets after 3 bullets have been shot increased from 2 to 3 per bullet. I don't know if I understand what that means. These two things are confusing to me. If you have answers, please let me know in the comment section below. Spectre's ammo increased from 25 to 30. That's nice. I like that. Obviously, more ammo, more precise. That's always great. More damage. The Stinger's single target damage with a direct hit has been increased from 150 to 175. I like that as well. More skill means you get more damage. Stinger's travel speed has been increased. That means when I see a character, it's a lot easier for me to be able to just tag them with that Stinger instead of having to really figure out where they're going to go and think about how slow it's moving. The faster, the better, right? Slide kick damage has been increased. Oh, thank God. They debuffed this so much. They nerfed it. That sucked, dude. But I don't remember how much it was before, but when they dropped it to 25, it was like, do not use that kick to actually hurt people. Now you can actually kick someone, do a little bit of damage, go ahead and just start drilling into them with the Spectre. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Also, the travel speed has been reduced a bit. So this is going to be interesting. Wraith has been pretty drastically changed here. Wraith as well as Enforcer, my 2 favorite characters. So it'll be interesting to see the changes here and to see how they work. Wow, so that was a lot of changes. You guys probably recognize that there are some people missing. Harrier has not been changed at all. The Titan has not been changed at all. So that's interesting. We'll see if they get changes throughout the time. I'm sure they will. But we'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and dive into maps and mode changes. All modes. Again, there's new team spawning. We've added logic that tries to spawn teammates who died shortly after one another into collections. So basically, again, you'll spawn with your team instead of having to just jump in by yourself and basically just getting slaughtered by the enemy team. This means you will more frequently have support when heading into battle. Threshold to spawn is 3 seconds by default. That's good, I like that. So you're not going to be waiting like 5 to 10 seconds. It's basically like, okay, 3 seconds ago someone just died, give us 3 seconds, you're going to spawn with them, at least you'll have a buddy. Buddy system. I like that. Added text messages or text messaging above the reticule to better inform players of the relevant mode information. For instance, this message will now tell the ball carrier you have the ball in Blitzball. This is actually really helpful. There's so many times I didn't know I had the ball, like I was near it and then apparently I grabbed it and I didn't know who had it. So now that a giant message will come up and be like, you have the ball, it's going to be super helpful. I know it seems kind of stupid for people who probably are always on that, but for people who aren't, it's going to be a lot helpful. Especially when you're like a Juggernaut and you're not actually trying to get the ball, you're just trying to block people and then you accidentally get it and you're just sitting there and you're like, what? What's the problem? Everyone's like, you have the ball, but there's no chat. So, you know. Alright, Blitzball. Blitzball has been sped up a bit. I like that. Through score limit and overall game time changes. We've also added some defensive-centric scoring events to help out players who like to defend and counterattack. This also helps all of you unsung heroes playing Juggernaut and Titan as goalies keep up the speedy scoring rolls a bit better. This is great. I like this a lot. This has been very frustrating, playing Juggernaut and Titan as defense and you basically don't get recognized for it. This is good. The game timer has been reduced, thank God. Too long. These games were too long. Score limit has been reduced to 5 scores to win. Thank God. Because it's really frustrating when, like, it used to be a lot. I can't remember what it was. It was like 14 or something dumb. And, like, that was crazy because, like, it wasn't fun. If you were losing for such a long time. Now it's like if they're super good and they just destroy you, great. Let it be over. And if they're not, then great. Let's have this battle really go through and through with 5, right? Because the ball can go back and forth without ever being scored for quite a bit. So now there's a bit, you basically have 2 minutes to score the ball, on average, right? And I like that. So this is cool. All right. Improve the game clock by not counting down while waiting for the Blitzball to reset. Oh, wow. Interesting. So while the Blitzball is resetting, the clock actually won't go down. This is good. That means more action is happening during the minutes that actually matter. I think that's cool. Also, here's some new things. Goaltender triggers when you're near the goal and Blitzball carrier dies. Like that, because that's my job when I'm playing Juggernaut. Carrier denied triggers when you kill the carrier near the goal, like that, because that's my job when I'm playing Juggernaut. We've also added bonus points for the person that scores the blitz ball. What? That wasn't... You guys didn't have it before? Lawbreakers, I love you guys. Come on, boss key, but you didn't have it before? Thanks for adding it. Alright, and then lastly, guys, there are bug fixes and a little bit of other stuff. Okay, I lied. So bug fixes, let's go through that first. I thought that was the last thing. I was wrong. UI. Fix the issue where out of bounds warning would get stuck on the screen. Never had that issue. Fixed numerous issues with the achievement icon would be missing. Numerous issues where the achievement icons were cut off in the announcement windows. Fix player health bars sometimes not updating. Fix the profile icon border sometimes becoming offset during the end of the match screen. Okay, cool. UI bug issues. Okay, glad those are fixed. Here's some other bug fixes. Custom games, fixing an issue where the start button would not function for a period of time after completing a match. I have run into that issue. Thank you for fixing that. Sound/Discord. Fixed an issue where players were forced to disconnect and reconnect to the Discord client to be heard. Okay, first of all, this is the PS4 patch notes. This is not relevant to us. So Boss Key, I know you just kind of probably copy and paste, but this is not relevant to us. We still don't have chat. We do not have Discord chat on PlayStation 4. It would be cool if we did, if we had some sort of integration. I may have done a video on that before. Link in the... No, I'm just kidding. Go on my channel, you'll find it. But we don't have this, so this is irrelevant to us. Fixed an issue where the game could potentially hang during gameplay due to excessive audio calls. Okay, cool. Fixed blitzball overtime audio announcer message playing when jumping off the map while in overtime. Didn't know that was an issue. Fixed audio queue issues in overcharge and uplink where they may not play properly during your first match. Again, not sure. I didn't know that was an issue. Alright, and then here are some other bug fixes. Battle Medic had some issues with blind firing. Gunslinger had some issues using the tack knife. Harrier had some issues with the laser visual effects would remain stuck. That sucks. Vanguard had some issues where Starfall would be interrupted mid-air. Oh, that's interesting. Game server would not immediately remove a player after they disconnected. That sucks as well. Fixed the issue where multiple players could be rewarded MVP. That would suck. I'm trying to be MVP, not you. Can be most valuable players. Most valuable player. Anyway, and then there's some mention. Alright, we're not going to go through all of this. If you guys want to read through this, you certainly can. These are a lot of bugs. Glad they've been fixing them. Alright, and then we have some general additions and improvements. Sandbox Tutorial has seen several improvements to tips, objective pathing. Interesting. I'm excited to see what that means, and bot performance. Okay, objective pathing within the tutorial. This is actually good because the bots were super laggy, and so was the objective pathing, so I'm excited to see how that works. A lot of people are scared of Lawbreakers. It's a hard game, so the fact that the Sandbox Tutorial is going to be better, that's a good thing. Definitely not bad. Also, new gameplay tips will now be displayed in-game. That's helpful, because there are so many noobs that don't know how to play. I'm not a noob. Kind of. Depending the character I'm playing. So, you know, it'll be helpful. Not for me, it'll be helpful. The Find Match UI will now always show during the end of the game experience to let players know if they're still searching or if they have been booted from the game lobby. That's always helpful. Leaving a match during warm-up or between matches does not count against players. Consecutive match bonus timer. Oh, interesting. So, if you leave during warm-up or between a match, that's totally cool. You won't be penalized. I like that. Because that was really annoying. Every time I did that, I was always like, nope, you about to lose your bonus. And I'm like, why? I just need a drink. I just need to go to the bathroom. So, this is good. Outdated versions of the game are no longer able to enter matchmaking. So, update your game. New combined the end of match personal results and scoreboard screens into new unified results screen. I like that. That means you can spend a longer amount of time taking a look at how well you did. Because that was annoying. You wouldn't be able to see, like, how well did I perform. I would always ask Phoenix after I was playing a match, yo, was I in first place? I forgot. And then he would lie and be like, no, I was. No, I'm just kidding. But I could never tell, so that's really cool that we can now check, okay, cool, I was doing pretty well, and this is, you know, correlating because of how well I did in the game. So I like that. Improved stability, that's always great. Reduced hitches, oh, thank God. Thank God. Related to garbage collection? Well, that is all of the patch notes, guys. This has been a long video. Again, I'm going to cut up this video in terms of the timestamps, so please use them. This is a long vid. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope we can get some discussion around these things. This is crazy, and I love your feedback. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you online, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!